Every once in a while, a product shows up that isn't trying to completely change the game. It's just trying to make the experience smoother, faster, and more enjoyable. And this monitor fits right into that category. On paper, this is the Samsung 27-inch Odyssey G5 G50F QHD gaming monitor. But as always, the spec sheet is just the starting point. What actually matters is how it feels when you sit in front of it, launch a game, and everything responds just a little quicker than you're used to. At first glance, the design is very restrained. Clean lines, thin bezels, and a simple stand. It doesn't go over the top with aggressive gamer styling. Instead, it feels like something that blends into a setup rather than dominating it. The kind of display you can keep on your desk every day without it feeling out of place. But the moment it turns on, things get more interesting. The 180Hz refresh rate combined with a QHD resolution immediately changes the feel of everything on screen. If you're upgrading from 60Hz or even 120Hz, the difference isn't something subtle you have to search for, it's obvious right away. Cursor movement feels smoother, scrolling feels lighter, and in games, everything feels more responsive and connected. It's one of those upgrades that quietly changes your expectations of what smooth actually means. This is a fast IPS panel, which is a nice balance between speed and image quality. You get fast response behavior without completely sacrificing color consistency or viewing angles. It doesn't try to compete with OLED, and honestly, it doesn't need to. It focuses on delivering a stable, reliable visual experience that holds up in everyday use in gaming. HDR10 is also included, and while it's not going to deliver high-end cinematic HDR performance, it does add a bit more depth in supported content. Highlights pop a bit more, shadows feel slightly more defined, and overall contrast gets a mild but noticeable boost. Where this monitor really starts to stand out is in motion performance. That 1 millisecond response time helps keep fast-moving scenes sharp, especially in competitive games where clarity matters. There's less blur during quick transitions, and motion feels more controlled and precise. On top of that, you get NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility and AMD FreeSync support, which means smoother gameplay even when frame rates aren't perfectly stable. Screen tearing is basically not something you think about here, and that helps the experience stay consistent. Now, the real question is always the same. Does it actually change how you experience gaming? And the answer is yes, but in a subtle way. It doesn't suddenly make you better. It doesn't upgrade your skill level. What it does is remove friction. Everything feels more immediate. Inputs translate to action faster. Movement feels tighter. And once you get used to that level of smoothness, going back feels noticeably worse. Outside of gaming, it still holds up really well. Browsing feels smoother, multitasking feels more fluid, and content consumption benefits from that QHD sharpness paired with high refresh performance. The stand is also fully adjustable, which adds a level of practicality that becomes more important over long sessions. Small adjustments in height and tilt make a real difference in comfort. And visually, it stays minimal enough to fit into almost any setup without drawing attention. Of course, it's not trying to compete with premium-tier displays. You're not getting OLED-level blacks or top-end HDR brightness. But that's not the goal here. The goal is balance. A smooth, responsive experience that feels consistent across everything you do. In a market full of over-designed gaming monitors chasing extreme specs, this one focuses on something simpler, delivering a solid, fast, reliable experience without unnecessary complexity. And that's exactly what makes it stand out.